Today, Friday, the 21st of February 2025, we have some handpicked match predictions to share with you, which of course will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in this list to boost your winning by a greater percent. And to those of you who want to have access to our handpicked events, which we share to members only, as well as having access to our top-notch bet class tutorials to take your winning to the next level, then you want to make sure to subscribe to the Level 2 Pro membership package plan with a Level 3 master plan to have access to these features to take your winning to the next height. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video. You want to make sure to go there, click navigate, and start to have access to these features to start taking your winning to the next level. So without wasting time, let's proceed with the event of today. But before we proceed, I'll share with you the result before proceeding to games of today. So let's proceed.
Looking at yesterday's event, we had a total of 7 games we shared. Of course, 5 of these events were successful. We used to do better than this, but of course, we are looking forward to getting better results than what we had yesterday. So let's share the event we have based on the yesterday's event. And to those of you who made their picks in this list for the games that are successful, then congratulations. Beginning with the first event, we looked in the World-Friendly International Women, where we looked at South Korea against Uzbekistan as the first, and we looked at the fact that the home is going to lead. We also said that there will be the possibility of 1.5 goal, 2 goals over in full time. It ended as 3 against 0, making the home to lead, and also making 1.5 or 2 goals over to be successful. Both cases were true. If you make this selection, then congratulations. In the next, we looked at Professional Developmental League in England, Sheffield United against Fleetwood. We said that for this particular event, there will be a huge number of goals, and we also said that the home will lead because of its high offense, and we said that there will be the possibility of at least 1.5 and 2.5 goals in full time. It ended as 5 against 1, making it successful. The home lead by 5, and 6 goals were scored, making 1.5 and 2.5 goals to be also successful. So congratulations. Looking at the next, we looked at Conference League, Panathinaikos against Vikingo Reykjavik, and we said in this event, we are looking at the home to lead. We also said that the possibility of 1.5 goals is very possible here. It ended as 2 against 0, making it successful. The home lead, and there were also 1.5 going full time. Successful, and congratulations. In the next, we looked at Iceland in the League Cup, Akranes against Grindavik. For this particular event, we went ahead to look at the possibility of corner kicks, and it was successful. Here, of course, we don't have the stats to share with you because this particular app are not showing the stat. But for corner kick event, we looked at the possibility of 6.5, 7.5, or 8 corners. These cases were true, making it successful. In the next, we looked at Jamaica in the Premier League, Mount Pleasant against Hapoel Town. In this event, we said that the home will lead because of its high offense. It ended as 1 against 0, even though we also look at possibility of goals here. Over 1 goal and 2 goals, of course, it ended as 1 against 0, making Mount Pleasant to lead, and we also look at the home to lead. So for leading, or for the home to lead, successful, and congratulations. And the only event, which of course we had shortage of goals, were 2 specific events here, which we shared yesterday. These are the 2 events. The first was in the AFC Champions League, Johannesburg Port against Port MT, where we said that at least we are looking at 1.5 or 2 goals. It ended as just 1 goal in full time, and in the next was in the Friendly International Women, Nepal against Lebanon. We said at least 1.5 goal also will occur, or 2 goals. It just ended as 1 as well, making this particular event to be shortage of goal by 1 and 1. So we had 5 successful events on this list, and of course we look forward to getting better results based on today's event. So let's proceed.
Now, looking at the event of today, let's proceed to match predictions for today. But before we proceed, I have a quick announcement to make. If you come here to the front page of our channel here, labeled as the home page, you're going to notice that we provide game predictions to members only in terms of goals possibility, corner kick events, goals, as well as big league events like Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, Bundesliga, Serie A, and much more. Then, of course, to have access to these handpicked events, which we share to members only, you want to make sure to become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan or the Level 3 Master plan to have access to these features. Also, once you become a member, like for example, if you are a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, you also have access to the Level 2 Pro classes that will give you access to the live match corner kick strategy step by step, a simple trick to make consistent winning, which we have explained to members only, never seen prediction strategy for your advantage as a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, and also the straight win comeback strategy that will amaze you, and tactical straight win and about 2.5 goals strategy, and 99% win rate membership strategy for Level 2 Pro plan. Once you become a member of these Level 2 Pro, you have access to all of these match bet tutorial classes in one place to take your winning to the next level. But if at all you are a member of the Level 3 Masterclass or Master Plan, you're going to have access to the Level 3 Masterclass. That will give you access to the top secret AI tool we use and strategy to find games in terms of straight wins and goals probability. You also have access to the corner kick strategy, which of course will give you access to the match prediction website, which we use, the secret website we use to find corner kicks. And of course, we have also created an update which will be released very soon in the Level 3 Masterclass level, and the 6 AI tool we use, as well as home and away match prediction strategy step by step, followed by 2.5 goal strategy to beat the bookies and win even more. So once you become a member, you're going to have access to these features as a member, and I'll put the link so that once you join, you can watch all of these video tutorial in one place, either as Level 3 Master or as Level 2 Pro. And to those who are interested to join to take their winning to the next height, the link is below this video. Just click and join to become a member. So without wasting time, let's proceed to the first event on our today's list. Looking at the first event, we looked at Australia in the NPL Northern NSW. We are looking at Adamstown Rosebud against Valentine. In this event, the recent performance of the home have proved to be very offensive recently in the games they have just recently had, scoring 6 and 3 goals in each event. Valentine, on the other hand, also just recently have proved to be very offensive, scoring 3 and 2 goals, and the conceding power also is very strong. They concede as much as they can. And the recent head-to-head which they have had, which Valentine played home, it lead 3 against 0. This time, they are coming again to meet, and Valentine this time is still going away. And looking at the stands in terms of the recent events you have had by form, the home Adamstown Rosebud have proved that here the seat here in the 9th position. They are just coming to play this tournament. They have not had any game played yet, but that of its opponent, based on the way in terms of recent events they have just had one game recently in the away, and you can see that they have conceded 5 and scored 2. They are good at offense and very poor in defense, just as we have shown you, where of course in the term of recent game they have had, both of the two sides are good at offense, but the defensive line is not very great. They do concede as much as well. And looking here at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, both of the two sides recently have proved to be very offensive, and the defensive line of both sides are not very tight. As a result, both of the two sides want to take advantage of each other. More shots on and off target, resulting to goals. So we want to look at least 1.5 goal in full time as one of the major pick, as well as 2 goals over. This is our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next, we look at Australia, but this time Victoria in the Premier League, Brunswick City against Western United. In this event, the recent performance of the home, Brunswick, have proved that they do score at least between 1 to 2 goals in each event recently. And of course, also in the VPL recently, they proved to be very offensive. That of its opponent as well, on the other hand, have proved to be very offensive as well, but the defensive line is not very good, scoring 3-4, conceding 2-2 in a recent event they have had. And looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent gameplay they have had by the performance at home and away in form, the home have proved that they have had 2 events, scoring 3 and conceding 1. The away, in terms of recent event they have had, also proved that they have had 1 game, scoring 3 goals, conceding 2. You can see that the defense are not very tight, but the offense proved to be good in both cases. And looking here, we'll look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, of course, both of the two sides still prove that the defensive strength is not very great, but they try to improve to score at least between 1 to 2 goals in each event for each of the team. Therefore, shoot on and off target due to impression rate will be greater. As a result, strike on goal point. So we're looking at least 1.5 goal in full time as well in this event in full time, or 2 goals over. Looking at the next, we looked here in the Europa, that is in the Europe U19 women qualification. Northern Ireland U19 women playing against Montenegro U19 women in the Euro U19 women. Of course, the recent performance of the game by Northern Ireland, the recent game they have had this same year, have proved that they just had a game against Azerbaijan 4-0, and also against Iceland 1-1. Of course, its opponent Montenegro, on the other hand, have just proved that they are also good. They just had a game also against Moldova, scoring 5 goals. Montenegro against Belarus, you can see having 4 loss. And of course, looking at this based on the stands by the recent game they have had by form, this tournament, of course, as you can see, is just also, let's go directly to the stand performance in terms of recent game they have had. You're going to see that by the home, this tournament also is just starting, and the home team have proved to be very offensive. The away team also, on the other hand, you can see in terms of the form and the overall will prove that both of the two sides, they score at least between 2 goals in each event. And looking at this, we'll look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the home especially is very offensive, and the fact that its opponent is also good at scoring, both of these two are coming to meet. At least striking rate impression will be high, so we look still at goals probability, at least 1.5 goal in this event in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Israel in the Liga, that is Lumit Liga, Hapoel Tel Aviv against Akko. For this event, the home have proved to be very good, scoring 1, 4, and 2 in each event in the LL. Very, very offensive in terms of recent game they have had this same year, 225, 225, 225, where the offensive strength is very great. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, concede that very much with a weak defensive lineup. The stand performance in terms of the recent event they've had by the form have proved that the home Tel Aviv is very offensive, and they lead this table, scoring up to 14 goals in just 5 events. That's a very high offense, and the defensive line is also very tough. That of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of the recent gameplay they've had, the defensive line is weak. They have conceded 9 goals in just 5 gameplays, scoring just 4. And looking at everything in place, we'll look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the home have proved to be very offensive with a high scoring capacity and leading this table with a good offensive line. But the defense of its opponent, the away, is not very tight. As a result, we look at the home to take advantage of a strong defense to lead the away team in full time as one of the major pick. Also want to look at least 1.5 goal in full time, since the home offense is very great and the defense of the away is not tight. We look at the home to score more goals. Therefore, look at 1, the home to lead, 2, at least 1.5 goal or 2 goals over for this particular event in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Kuwait in the Premier League, Yarmouk against Arabi. For this event, Yarmouk have proved recently that the defensive line is weak, conceding 4 and 2 events recently. Its opponent, Arabi, on the other hand, also proved that they do score, but also the offensive line is not very strengthened. And of course, the stand performance in terms of recent events you have had by the game played performance by the home and away, of course, the form proved that the home team, Yarmouk, here sits right at the last position with conceding power that is very high. And looking at its opponent away in terms of recent events they have had, the defensive line, as you can see, is very tightened with an offense that is good, scoring 13 in just 5 games played. And looking at this, we'll look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the away Arabi proved to be better in terms of form recently, and the defense is good with good offense. Therefore, look at the way to take advantage of these events in full time to either lead in full time as one of the major pick, and as well as we want to look at a double chance. So we don't want to go for goals here, but we want to look either the away to lead or to give it a double chance. These are our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next, we looked at Kuwait in the Premier League, Al Kuwait against Al Salmiya. For this event, the performance of Al Kuwait in terms of recent event they have had proved that they are very offensive in recent gameplay they have had, scoring 6 goals in each event recently. Its opponent, on the other hand, proved that they concede too much, conceding 2 to 4 goals in each event with a weak defensive line. Looking at the stands in terms of recent event they have had by the form comparison, the home Al Kuwait proved that they have a good offensive strength, and sitting here on the first place, scoring 18 goals in 5 games played, proved that the offense is very great with a very strong defensive line. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of recent event they have had, Salmiya, they have proved that the offense also is good, but the defense is average. And looking at everything in place, we'll look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, especially that of the home team, the offensive strength is very high. And since the defense of its opponent is not very tightened and average, we look at the home to lead. Also, since the away also have an offense, which also is at least good, we look at both sides to impress, causing goals probability. So also want to look at 1.5 goal in full time as the next pick, and also 2.5 goals in full time. Therefore, look at 3 major pick here. 1, the home to lead. 2, 1.5 goal in full time. 3, 2.5 goals in full time. Looking at the next, we'll look at Belgium in the Pro League, that is Challenge Pro League, Waregem against Genk. In this event, the performance of Waregem have proved to be very offensive in recent event they have had, scoring 3 goals in each event. Its opponent, on the other hand, have proved to be very weak in defensive line without a very good defense. And looking at the stands in terms of recent events they've had by this particular tournament, looking at the form of the home, they have proved to be better. Sitting here, Waregem lead here, scoring 17 goals in 5 events, prove that they have a very good offensive line. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, the defensive line and goal scoring capacity prove that they are not very good. And we look, they have considered 10 goals in 5 events. And looking at this, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the home have proved to be very offensive in recent events they have had. And the fact that the defensive line of the away is not very tight and that is weak, we look at the home to take advantage of the weak defense of the away to lead in full time as one of the major pick. Also, since the home have the high probability of scoring with the high offensive strength, we look also at the possibility of 1.5 goal to occur in full time or 2 goals over. This is our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next, we look at Wales in the Premier Premier. We look at Bala Town against the New Saints. In this event, the performance of Bala in recent event they have had proved that the defensive line is not good, conceding 3 and 2 goals in each event in the PL itself this same year. But that of its opponent, the New Saints, in terms of recent event they have had this same year, they have proved to have more offense. And looking at this, the New Saints have a game against Kenafon and it beats it 1-0. This same Kenafon recently in this same year 2025 also had a game with Bala and had a loss. You can see Kenafon beat Bala 3-0. This means that if Bala had a loss against Kenafon up to 3-0, for which this same Kenafon was beaten by TNS, then of course it means that TNS also have the upper hand with more offensive strength and probability for these stands to also beat Bala in full time. And looking at the stand comparison in terms of recent event they have had, comparing the form based on this recent tournament, Bala on the away team is better in terms of form, scoring 9 goals in 5 events, conceding 6. The offense is good, but the defense is not very, very tightened. But that of the home, Bala have proved that the offensive strength here sit right down here. They are just average with a weak defensive line. And looking at this, we look at 2 to 3 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the away team, the New Saints have proved to be better in terms of offense. If it's able to beat Kenafon and Kenafon beat the home team, then of course there's still the possibility of Bala, that is the New Saints, to beat Bala. Therefore, we are looking at the away to lead in full time as one of the major pick here. Also, since the away have the probability to beat Kenafon 1 goal and Kenafon is able to beat the home team 3 goals, then there is still the possibility of goals here. So also look at 1.5 goal in full time as the next pick. Therefore, look at 2 major pick. 1, 1.5 goal in full time. 2, the probability of the New Saints to lead in full time. And to those of you who want to have access to our hand pick events as well as top corner kick events and access to our top bet class tutorials, which we share to members only, to take your winning to the next height, then you want to make sure to subscribe to the level 2 pro plan or the level 3 master plan to have access to these features to take your winning to the next level. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video. You want to go there, navigate and click to join to become a member and start to have access to these features. Good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye bye for now.